Today we will take a look at very interesting gimbal Feiyu AK2000 intended for mirrorless and DSLR setups up to 2.8 kilograms. If you are looking for a gimbal nowadays, there is really no shortage of options. AK2000 seems like an interesting proposition. It costs about half the price of DJI Ronin S, and it has a lot of great features such as the touchscreen, camera controls, controller wheel and so on. In this video, we will take a look at how it performs in real-world situations. I will mainly focus on the usability, handling, smoothness and the feature set. I've been testing this gimbal mainly with Sony A7 III. Besides the gimbal itself, I will also show you the dual handle setup and follow focus motor. AK2000 comes in hard foam case. Besides the gimbal itself, you will also get Manfrotto 501 style quick release plate, metal tripod, which is also grip extension, 4 22 mAh batteries, USB battery charger, remote control cables for Sony, Panasonic and Canon cameras, lens support piece, and 2 types of quick release thumb screws. The gimbal itself is very well made. It feels solid, the materials are high quality, and the buttons have positive feedback. I especially like rubberized surface on the grip on all Feiyu gimbals. Included mini tripod is also super solid and well shaped, so it is pretty comfortable to use it as a grip extension. Besides that, it also has 3 1/4-inch threads for accessories. AK2000 can be disassembled in 2 parts, which is very practical for traveling. It weighs about 1.25 kilograms, which is okay in my opinion. It is much lighter than Ronin S, which weighs 1.86 kilograms, but heavier than Genion Weebill Lab, which weighs just 970 grams. Overall, I think that it is very acceptable weight. Payload capacity is 2.8 kilograms, which is more than enough for me. It holds my A7 III with Tamron 28-75mm f2.8 with total weight of 1.2 kilograms with no problems at all, and honestly, I don't see myself using anything heavier than that on a gimbal. If you want to stabilize 1DX Mark II or something like C200, you should probably get AK4000 or the new AK4500 with huge 4.6 kilograms payload. Balancing this gimbal is as easy or as difficult as any other gimbal. Camera is attached to gimbal using Manfrotto 501 style quick release plate, which is now a standard with most gimbals. All of the axes are fairly easy to move, so I have no complaints about the balancing. Roll axis is also angled, so the view on the display is not obstructed, which is great, and that is also a standard nowadays. Before we get to the handling, let's take a look at the smoothness of this gimbal. To be honest, I've tried quite a lot of gimbals, and there aren't that big differences in the smoothness. I think that the footage looks great. It stabilizes even larger movements very well. Of course, the stabilization effect still depends on how well you can operate the gimbal, but AK2000 can definitely do its part. The only issue that I had was that in default capture mode it is extremely sensitive to movement of my wrist and it is not possible to set the dead zone for movements. Occasionally it would just yank to the side. Fortunately, that is not a problem in smooth capture mode. I also use every gimbal with in-body image stabilization in camera turned on. It helps with shaking and smaller movements, and the results are always better that way in my experience. All 3 axes can also rotate freely, which is great, so you have unlimited range of motion. It is also a standard nowadays, and in my opinion one of the most significant upgrades over the older gimbals. Unfortunately, there are no motor locks. That would be nice, but I can live without those. The grip on AK2000 is sufficiently thick with nice surface, so it is very comfortable to hold. The controls are in my opinion the biggest strength of this gimbal. I actually think that AK series have the best controls of all gimbals on the market. There is 4-way joystick that can be used for moving the camera and also for scrolling through the menu. Then there are 6 buttons. The first one is for turning the gimbal on and off and for some other settings. The second one is for switching modes. There are 2 more buttons on the front side, those control the camera, we will talk about those in a minute. On the right side we have button for locking the display. There is also a trigger button on the back side. When you hold it down, it switches the gimbal to fast follow mode, which is quite useful. The controller wheel has multiple functions on this gimbal. It can be used for moving all of the axes, or you can use it for focusing if you have optional follow focus mode. You can press it down to change which axis you want to control. Then there is the touchscreen, which is one of two standout features of this gimbal. It is extremely useful because it lets you control the modes, and you can easily see which mode you are currently in. You can also see information about the battery life and wireless connection. You can also use it to change a lot of settings like the capture mode, payload, or sensitivity of the controller wheel. Overall, this touchscreen makes a huge difference in terms of usability for me, and it is definitely one of the main reasons to get this gimbal. The second standout feature of this gimbal is the possibility to wirelessly control the camera. I was shocked by how well it works. The pairing process through the app was very simple, and once it is paired, you don't need to do anything. The gimbal will connect to the camera immediately, and in my testing with Sony A7III, it was 100% reliable. It lets you start and stop recording and take stills using two buttons on the front of the gimbal. When you swipe to the right on the screen, you can change the exposure compensation and ISO. When you swipe to the right one more time, you can change the white balance. Unfortunately, it is not possible to change aperture and shutter speed this way. The app is very good, it lets you control the gimbal, and the connection is 100% reliable. Unfortunately, I missed the option to set the dead zone and some other advanced motor settings, so I hope that those will be added in update. There are two 1/4-inch mounts on this gimbal. One is on the bottom side, so I use that one for included mini tripod. The second one is on the back of the gimbal, and it can be used for mounting the gimbal to something, or for mounting something to the gimbal using a magic arm. Battery life on AK2000 is rated for 12 hours. I have only charged it once since I got it, so I haven't evaluated that, but it should definitely be enough for a whole day of shooting. Unfortunately, it cannot be charged using USB port, so we will have to carry the charger with gimbal. Regarding the modes, you have horizontal follow or pan follow, where the gimbal follows your movement in horizontal axis. In tilt follow mode, it follows your horizontal as well as the vertical movements. In lock mode, it will just keep the camera pointed in one direction. All follow mode is basically a POV mode, and it follows all axes. You can add following of roll axis to any of these modes by pressing on-off button once. Of course, you can enter selfie mode by triple pressing on-off button, and you can reset the gimbal position by double pressing the trigger button. Torch mode for vertigo effect is also available in all follow mode. The only thing that I miss here is tilt follow only mode, which I wasn't able to find on this gimbal, but it can be substituted by lock mode and joystick. AK series also supports motion time-lapse. You can activate it by using the touchscreen, which is very simple, and you can also set how fast it should move, so that is a great feature. I've also been testing new AK-F2 brushless follow focus. Now it connects to the front of the quick release plate, which is more practical, and it is connected to the gimbal using USB-A to USB-C cable. There is no need to set it up, it works very well with Tamron 28 to 75mm f2.8 since it has linear focus. You can set the sensitivity of the controller wheel. It works very well and the focusing is very precise. I intend to get some semi and semi lenses with integrated follow focus gears, so I'm looking forward to using those with this follow focus. New dual handle grip for AK series is also available, and I have tried out that one as well. It is made of carbon fiber, so it is very light, and the installation is also very straightforward. It has two cold shoe mounts or some threads on the top for mounting various accessories. To be honest, I haven't spent much time with it, but I think that it is very suitable for more serious jobs, and it gives you better control over the gimbal. You can also hold the gimbal by the top part for low angle shots. It seems like a very useful accessory, so I'll definitely spend some more time with this configuration. To sum up, the biggest advantages of AK2000 for me are the controls, especially the touchscreen, overall handling, and seamless connection with camera. It also has 3 axes, an abstracted view of the screen, and the controller wheel. The disadvantages are that the batteries can't be charged through USB, it is too sensitive in normal capture mode, and I miss some of the settings in the app. Overall, it is a great gimbal with very good price tag in my opinion, so I am very happy with it overall, It is one of my most frequently used gimbals, so I do recommend it, especially at that price. So that's it for this video, thank you for watching, I hope that you liked this video and that you found it to be useful. Stay tuned for more videos and maybe consider subscribing if you don't want to miss my future content. I appreciate your feedback in form of thumbs up or thumbs down. If you would like to ask anything or share your opinion, please do so in the comment section, and see you next time.